What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. We got another Saturday night stream here. All right. Right. I got some headphones so I can actually hear myself here. Granny, what's up? Sandra Jones. Good to see you check in. Hope all is well with you out there in the Indianapolis, Indiana area. So there will be some special things to come here in the near future. Just got these headphones so I can actually hear myself and let me know if I'm too loud. Just trying to make adjustments as I go here. Hot Indiana. What was the high there for today? We hit 91 and 88-ish in different various parts of the central Connecticut area here. So it was hot here. 85 today, next week 88. Okay. Yeah, we hit 91, so it was hotter here than it was even with the heat index in Miami, Florida, and Virginia Beach, Virginia today. As I have those spots saved on my phone from vacations but so what I'm going to be doing here in the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping to get some software or some applications. I'm reviewing a couple and still looking for reviews, more YouTube videos on the pros and cons of some of these so that we can actually have some guests on. And also so I can share my screen and break down more of the ticketing as we get to concert season. Because there's a lot of interesting things going on with concerts. Yeah, the ironing board right there. I saw it. I actually moved it over towards the poster before I went live. Jacob heading to Raleigh and Charlotte this summer. So the first two shows. And if you get into trouble in the Raleigh-Durham area, just let me know. My aunt is a judge out there. And if you need some help, if you get in trouble, hopefully you don't. But if you get in trouble down there, let me know. But now, Jacob, do you have your ticket to those shows already? Are you waiting to see what prices are? Those, it's not what you, absolutely. That is true. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Although actually, quick sidebar, some of what you know is important. I've been already got tickets, lawn for Raleigh, seats for Charlotte. Okay, that's good because those are two shows, especially that Raleigh show where it's hard, the ticket price, because it's the opening night and it's the pandemic. Since the pandemic, first full show since the pandemic, it's big. It actually, one thing I mentor young men, and one thing I was talking about today is what you know when you turn 18, when you start looking for colleges, when you look for what you're going to do in your life is actually very important. And actually, I've been teaching some of these young men about, like, we went over property taxes today. It's a church faith-based mentoring program, but we went over property taxes. What you know right now is so critical. Looking at everything with the pandemic, everything that's going on, not getting student loans with certain rates is so important right now. And there's so many alternatives now. If a 4-year school is your path, I'm not knocking it. I went to a 4-year college, but some of this stuff, if the school doesn't give you this money, man, these community colleges, these certificates, these jobs that'll pay for your education, even at 19. I saw a thing on the news where there's certain jobs that are hiring people at 19 and saying, look, we'll get them eventually to school, but we want to give them job skills. That's a huge passion of mine right now. Is I'm just educating myself more on alternative paths than the 4-year degree through your standard. All right, I got to get loans for this. What are other ways that young men and young women can get a job? Right? There's programs here in Connecticut. You do 2 years at a community college, you can get a job at a pretty good starting salary for someone with an associate. So anyway, that's nor here or there. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is I actually am a little bit shocked Honda is offering this. Yeah. And it's the job market right now is interesting because there's a lot of people hiring and there's a lot of people trying to compete for good talent that's leaving companies because companies are taking them for granted and companies want people to go back to the office. Most are trying to keep people at home if they can to keep them happy. But some of these companies, people had to leave or step aside from a company and they're going somewhere else. And it's not just about the money, it's about the benefits some of these companies are offering. Anyway, we can talk about that at the end. But let's get to the concert stuff. So yeah, Raleigh, Deer Creek, right? So granted, this doesn't apply to you because those Deer Creek shows are all you can really get is lawn, right? It's like when Jesus was born, there was no room except the manger seats, right? But I will say this. There's still a lot of shows that even after these shows have been re-announced, there's still tickets. I went through the warehouse. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I went through the warehouse. I have a pick. I didn't realize I had this guitar pick in my pocket. I didn't realize I had it. um, I was looking through Mansfield. There's still seats through the warehouse, like in pavilion seats that you can get now through the warehouse. Because I was looking to renew my confirm that I'm keeping my tickets and double check I did it. And I already did it, but I did it again just to make sure I have the tickets. And I can get tickets to Mansfield right now through the warehouse. Guilford, New Hampshire for both nights. I can get reserved seats through the warehouse, and same thing with Live Nation and Ticketmaster. We have a lot of people that want to get back to concerts. The pits are there's not going to be any room in the pits. The lower level is going to be filled, but some of these mid pavilion, these side seats, these back pavilion seats, you can still get a seat through the warehouse. And let me just log in to see because in the Gorge, if you want to go to the Gorge this year, right? Everything's been reopened, everything's been confirmed. If you want to go to the Gorge, you can still get reserved seats through the warehouse. When I looked yesterday, and this is, I thought that it was going to be a little more of people wanting to get back to these shows. Instant ticketing. Let's see. And then tour dates. Yeah, I mean, you can buy tickets now. Let's see, but for instance, and this is what I want to show more next week. If I can get this application to share my screen and go live at the same time, which there's a couple again I'm looking at. The first two shows, Raleigh and Charlotte, or Raleigh and Charlotte, those aren't available. But right now, $95 reserve seating. So that's the back of house for Guilford, New Hampshire. You can still get seats. And the back of house at Guilford is still close to the stage. Oops, I didn't share my link. Let me see. So what's interesting is there's still plenty of seats. You can get $115 reserve seating at Mansfield. Yep, still right now. I could buy them right now. The Gorge. Now the Gorge is a more isolated venue, but it is the popular show for Saturday night right now. Now Saturday night, GA lawn only. Okay. But for instance, Sunday, $120 reserve seating, GA lawn. I mean, you can get seats for most of these shows. Night one of the Gorge, Friday the 9/3. So, hey, what's up, Mike? Good to see you. And Mike, what we're talking about today, and I really hope you're able to get to the Gorge. I hope things are going better in Canada. I know you got your vaccination appointment. What we're talking about is the shows. There's still tickets to these shows through the primary and through the warehouse. And what we're going to do, Mike, is in future weeks, I'm hoping to get some software to get people on as guests and then also share my screen to show you guys, break down what I'm seeing in the ticket market and what I believe based on my experience of what's going on and knowing, being able to get in the past, get seats below face value. Beat the market, beat the what the venue thinks they can sell these tickets for, and getting them below face on the secondary. And how about Mike? Hey, how about those? I saw you post something about it, man. Winnipeg Jets up 2-0 on Edmonton. Oh, haven't been watching much hockey. I saw some of the Isles, Penguins, some of the Bruins, Caps here as well, and Boston's up 3-1. But yeah, how about that? Edmonton is down. But yeah, I mean, these tickets, DMB Mamas, how's it going? And things are looking better. Got my shot. You hate the Oilers, will chill for anyone else. Gotcha. All right, Edmonton. Man, it seems like it was centuries ago that they actually had some of, Paul Coffey and Wayne Gretzky before my time, Mark Messier, and those teams that I heard about when I was learning about the sport of hockey and watching some of the classic games. Man, what? But not anymore. And also, Jets Oilers is an NFL matchup as well. Well, it used to be when the Houston Oilers were a team. But and DMB Mamas, we're talking about shows. There were still tickets available through the warehouse for a lot of these shows. I mean, you can still get tickets. And let's see. Yeah, even Mohegan Sun. I don't know how that is. I mean, it's just, I thought more things were going to be. So your husband was at Game 7 Rangers Devils in 94. Wow. And the Rangers won that game dramatically, right? And then they made it to the Cup. They won the Cup, I believe. So you got your tickets through the warehouse. Easiest time. Now, Mike, what shows did you request? Said the boys are coming out with a new album. Tickets is their only immediate funds. I wouldn't say that because albums actually Gorge Lawn Night 1 and Pit Night 3. Oh, Night 1 and 2 and Pit Night 3. Yeah, now Mike, I will say this about the Gorge. Congratulations on getting Pit Night 3. With the Gorge, though, that's a special like you're always going to get confirmed for the Gorge Lawn and even the pit. There's only so many people that travel out to that. So that's a unique setup where, for instance, where Granny is in for Deer Creek, right? Deer Creek is still a competitive ticket. Saratoga Springs is a competitive ticket. The Gorge is the best weekend in DMB history in DMB touring, but at the same time, it's so limited on who can get there. So there's always tickets available because you only can have some. As I said the other week, you only can have so many people that are in Ellensburg, Moses Lake, or right in the limited hotels in the area or camping. So there's a limited base of people that can travel where you're in the Indianapolis metro. And not only that, a Deer Creek show, everyone in the Midwest tries to get to that Deer Creek show because they know it's a 2-night weekend. Even other non-Midwest fans fly into Deer Creek. I mean, into Indianapolis to go to those shows. So it's a little different beast. But at the same time, I think what we're seeing is the Gorge has always been availability has always been there. I think maybe you got your best picks this year, right? Without any issue, you were able to get pits for night 3, where maybe a couple of years ago, back in the Boyd era, it was you probably couldn't get those pits. But I think what's happening, right? Yep, and you know that better than me, because you're seeing that when you're at the tailgate, Granny. Oh, you've only seen one Gorge show sell out night 216. Okay. A lot of people got shut out. Okay. So that was the only time. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's now I think if they announce a final tour, you may see the Gorge start to fill up. People are gonna want to, but even so, there's just a limited pool. I think night 216, that may be the peak. Oh yeah, the final weekend before the year break, right? And they announced that too, right? They said they were gonna. So yeah, right. Deer Creek, yeah, Deer Creek always sells out. Um, right, and I've seen their attendance. Right, although it's technically, I don't know if they've limited the lawn tickets in Deer Creek. The Deer Creek numbers were down. They still were, obviously all the seats sold out, but the lawn numbers from antsmarching.org were down a little bit, but just minor, just a very, very minor. So maybe because maybe they have, but I mean, anyway, Deer Creek is one of those spots that sells up both days. So it's a, but the lawn is just in this era of the band. Feel like tickets are still available because people are refunding. They are. They are. People are refunding for many different reasons. And just like you, Mike, you know, you're in Canada and we don't know. I really hope, though, that now that you guys are getting vaccinated, they'll let you over the border. I really hope that's the case. There's even challenge, as you probably know, Mike, with the Stanley Cup hockey. I mean, we haven't had Montreal, Toronto in years, decades, right? Face off in a Stanley Cup. I mean, a playoff matchup like this, and there can't be any fans. That's sad, and it's disheartening. But I know obviously they want to get the vaccinations have to go up, but still, I'm really hoping that you guys are gonna what we're seeing now in the States with the mandates being lifted. Our baseball is at 100% capacity right now for Connecticut. Boston and New York. New York has a history. We had we had trucks full of body bags. So New York is just very sensitive. Right. Packed arenas in the States. And you know what the Islanders are doing? They have COVID sections behind the goals. I don't know if you were watching, if you can catch those games out, if they're on one of the Sportsnet channels for Islanders Penguins at the Nassau Coliseum. I've actually been to that venue about 7 or 8 times to see Flyers Islanders. Behind the goals, those were COVID. If you had the vaccination, you could pack those sections. They're trying to make it intimidating for the opposing teams. And they've packed those sections, and then they have regular. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, you can sit in certain sections too with a little bit of distance. But they actually have COVID, if you've gotten your vaccine sections. So, but I really hope that they are able to open up the board, even if the playoffs, because they're going to have to do something with the Stanley Cup playoffs that may force them to really open things up for travel. So the Canadian teams eventually have to travel to America to play American teams. So some of these quarantines are going to have to change. Otherwise, the playoffs have to halt, right? Or the Canadian teams have to have an unfair advantage to go to the States. So anyway, I say all that to say I really hope you guys can come down from Canada, especially the BC fans who maybe, all right, they canceled the BC, British Columbia, Vancouver show. And even those other provinces like where you are that are just in those mountain time zones and Pacific time zones. So I really hope you're able to come out in the central time zone as well, where you guys are in a good distance from the Gord and some of the other American cities like Michigan. There's a couple shows in Michigan as well that are talking about opening the border, either a passport or showing proof of vaccination. 175%. Okay. All right. I mean, they should. I mean, really, I think. Look, you got your vaccine, and that's a choice anyone needs to make for themselves. But I feel like if you have proof of vaccination and a passport, they should just let you over, especially by August. I really hope that they're able to do that. Oh, and I got my Hartford Whalers shirt on. I don't know if I told you, Mike. Maybe I did, but I was at the last Whalers game as a kid. I actually have a photo of it. I found myself on a YouTube video that has since been deleted. Which was one of the most bittersweet days of my life. That's good. You're more optimistic now. You have been. Let's see. It's hard to see. That's me right there. At the last Whalers game. Yeah, you really can't see it on here, but I have it on Twitter. But yeah, man, that was me at the last game. It's my second game ever. I was 6 years old that game. But first game, I was like right behind the penalty box. And the first time I actually saw the speed of hockey in motion. No, oh heck no. I hate the Canes, and it's because they left. And listen, I get why we're never having a team's not going to come back here. We're just not a market that's big enough right now. But I can't root for the Canes because they won a cup, and that cup could have been in Hartford, and the fan base was so loyal here. Like I'm telling you, the team sucked. We once beat Montreal in a playoff, and we had a parade. The teams were historically horrible, but we still had fans here. And the Canes won a cup, and they're just getting their fan base now. If they won a cup in Hartford, Connecticut, we would have had like the Bruins would have still been a big power fan base, but we would have been a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we were the Green Bay of Green Bay Packers of NHL, but no, I hate the Canes. I root for their downfall. Although, you know what I do like? I do like how they're creating an environment where people of many different backgrounds, white, black, whatever, that weren't into hockey are getting into hockey because the Canes are in Raleigh. But I can't support the Canes because they left. And I know Karmanos is gone and Tom Dundon's the owner now, but I will never rock with the Canes unless they're playing the Bruins and they can get the Bruins out of the playoffs because I hate the Bruins too. But other than that, now, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, with the tickets, I hope to show you guys and break down because I love talking tickets. I have a history of I had some brief actually not brief, but 2013 to 2016, 17. 2013 to 2017, I actually worked in the secondary ticketing marketplace. And just at the same time was finding deals. Just it was a hobby of mine to find tickets below face value. So I have not a little, I actually have a lot of knowledge um, about the industry, although things have changed since 17 when I left the industry. But I kind of know, like, I've spoken to brokers, I've spoken to companies, um, but I just know them. I know that with DMB, I have a sense. I mean, it's not hard to tell, but it's just like from seeing what's going on and seeing different things happen and the ticket availability, I really think it's going to be interesting. And we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, certain venues are going to be popular, but again, you can go on the DMB website and buy a ticket to Mohegan Sun. So that means people did request refunds because it was sold out. And then also tickets are being held. When they say it's sold out, they have other ones as well. DMB 83, what up? So more on that. For face, yeah, DMB Mamas. Hopefully, I can show you some of this next week. Like I said, I'm trying to get some soft. I'm getting some software so I can screen share, get people in, so you guys can come in live. I'm looking to also. I have a John Dix. You may see him on here and there. Just we're working on something where he's gonna give us a report after the shows that he's going to, because he's going to a lot of shows this year. So there's some things that I'm hoping to get in the works. I got these new headphones today so I can hear myself, because I love hearing myself talk. I just got a big ego like that. But anyway, so more on the tickets next week. We'll try to do some analysis there. The next thing I want to talk about is this idea. I put it on Twitter, right? Should DMB should they have stopped making music in 2002? So this is just under assumption, right? We have everything through Busted stuff, and even Busted stuff, that stuff was already created and being played in 01. But to me, I know some people think, they don't like Every Day, but I love Every Day. In the sense that the actual song Every Day, it's okay. It's not the same without Boyd, but Sleep to Dreamer, Fool to Think, So Right, What You Are. I love those songs. And I think that's the icing on DMB's best music. And here's my thing. That's not to say that some of the there's been some great songs that come out. Lying in the Hands of God. Even American Baby Intro is awesome. Was it necessarily needed for DMB shows? No, but it's still an awesome song. So Lying in the Hands of God, American Baby Intro, Drunken Soldier, Virginia in the Rain. I mean, there's some Broken Things. The Riff. I love those songs. But the thing about my personal opinion, the answer to this is it's a yes and a no. Me personally, if we were only limited to things before 2002 and prior, if it was never played prior to by the December 31st, 2002, I would love shows, because there's not really bathroom break songs. Yes, Satellite. Yes, you could say Crash Into Me. You could say some other stuff, but overall, the set lists were great beginning to end. I think my issue is a young Barry White. She could listen to Buddy play every day. Right. And every day, even and that's a crowd favorite. Like I said, keep it, play it. Right. And but everything before, like I said, all that music, and I know DMB Mamas, you were going to these shows very early, so you got to see a lot of this. There's all the songs are just solid. Where my issue now is it's not that these songs are abysmal, but some of them just to me don't hit live. They're great studio songs. They're great studio songs, but they don't translate live. And it's just like that with certain people. There's great people that, if you've ever been on a dating app or just dated or tried to get set up with somebody, right? You see the profile, you see this, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, oh, hey. And then you see them without the angled pictures or what the idea of them. Speaking of idea of you, the idea of them in the pictures you see, and then actually seeing them in real life, and there's just a disconnect. There's the chemistry's not there. That's how I feel about a lot of the material post 2002 and even 2001. The everyday stuff wasn't made. That was the breaking point where you know what? These songs weren't really road tested, except number 36 was turned into everyday. But they still made better music. And their music did mature. You're right, Granny. It matured. The problem is the mature music just didn't hit as well because your best music comes from the times where you're most lost, where you're running through having a ball before you get married and settle down, right? That's where our best music comes from. That's why we have so many people. I think about this time of year, I think about Chris Cornell and I think about Chester Bennington from that are from been part of some of my favorite bands, Linkin Park, Soundgarden, Audioslave, and Chris Cornell solo. But Chris Cornell and just like they were just they made great music, but they also struggled with demons. And I think, yeah, I don't think it's a progression. See, the thing is, their lives have gotten better, but the music has been more of misses. It's a progression, it's a maturity, and I'm actually happy that they have happiness. And that's why I'm going to explain the other part of this. No, DMV, we're not going there today. But ultimately, I'm glad that DMB is in a different spot than some of the artists I like. I think about rest in peace to DMX, right? And the things he had to struggle with, like I said, Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell, and just many other acts, right? Think about Michael Jackson, right? And that's why I'm glad Stevie Wonder to me is just a miracle. He was in a coma when he was writing Higher Ground. Like Higher Ground was being produced and he got in a coma, and it actually like in that time. But like Stevie Wonder's a miracle. But think about Prince. These artists gone too soon, but they had lives of just that sometimes led to them passing early for natural causes and unnatural causes. But I'm glad that DMB is, and that's what I'm talking about in a moment. But ultimately, this is my thing. When you have songs that don't hit as well live, it makes for a lesser quality show for people like me, who this is why I became a fan because of Even Lying in the Hands of God. Right? I became a fan because of 41. I became a fan because of Bartender. These are songs that I love because there's darkness. There's even in the darkness, there's light. Dave sings upbeat about dark things, like Lie in Our Graves, right? And so these are the songs that are just so powerful, but they don't get as much showcase. In some of the newer songs, because you're happy. Like, here's the thing. I love Virginia in the Rain. I love Here On Out. I don't like Come Tomorrow. It's a great song with a great message. I think it's poorly executed. I think that it is a snoozer live. And I think that the writing of it is a little too cheesy. But you know what? Dave is happy, and that's all that matters for his personal health. And I actually saw some cameos that Boyd was doing. We're not going to go into the Boyd thing, but I saw some cameos that Boyd just looked a little better than he had in a while. He had sent some cameos out. People put them on antsmarching.org where, cameos that you can book, pay Boyd to send a message to a loved one. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Thinking of you. And Come On is a good, actually, it is a good song, but after a couple of listens, it's not up there with the grid. It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. And I actually loved it when it first came out, and it actually hasn't gotten much play. That's my issue too. The best songs, the songs that in this mature D&B that hit the best aren't played. Broken Things, The Riff. Now the Riff was played right before the pandemic, but that was rare. Broken Things, The Riff. Lie in the Hands of God is played, but Dive In actually should be played more. Dive In is one of my favorite songs. So come on. I would actually rather see that song than That Girl Is You and some of the other stuff. It just hasn't been played. Um, but the thing is this. My favorite Black and Bluebird in 2015 and 16, the best Come Tomorrow songs were played live. In that era. And actually didn't make the cut, but Bismarck. Bismarck was awesome. The Jam in Bismarck was awesome. Didn't make the cut. Black and Bluebird, loved it. Quiet little acoustic driven song. I saw the last playing of it in, I think that was 2018. It was in Hartford. And Virginia in the Rain. I saw the first playing of that. And I really think that everyone should be able to experience that song every year live. And it hasn't been played except acoustically, partial acoustics in 19. So it's not that I dislike all of the music that's been played recently. The best songs from the era, Dive In, Line in the Hands of God, American Baby and You, they're not played. And here's that's my opinion. It's my personal stance that look, the best music, Dave doesn't trust himself. No, actually, no, that's not true. I think that the best music Dave produces, he's not feeling it. And this is why the band needed to keep writing after 2002 for their well-being and their mental health. This band is a band that they have to feel what they're playing. Otherwise, it's going to sound abysmal. And this is case in point is the 2010 tour where they busted out a bunch of songs in Hartford. And my friend went to the show and he's like, you know what? These songs just aren't that, like he said, they were like he was excited to hear them, but they just didn't come out like they did. So this is May 28th, 2010. They played JTR as the opener, Liberated, first playing JTR since 9306. They played Hello Again, which again I do not endorse as the first song back. First time it was played since 05. I mean, so it was, and then they played Busted Stuff, first time played since 2003. First time full band since May 18th, 2002. That's a long time. Then they played Kit Kat Jam after that. First time played since 2003. Oh, by the way, the encore, the song debut of Break For It. I mean, this was a heck of a show. Let me put this in the chat. My friend was at this show in Hartford. And people, I guess that year, everyone was so pumped up, and like a lot of this stuff never came back. A lot of this stuff never actually came back more than a couple of times. So, but so that's where I stand with my personal opinion. But here's the thing: transitioning into why they needed to make new music. Some of those songs, again, my friend said they weren't all there were some hiccups, but you wouldn't know. Like if you're just a regular fan that just is dancing and you're feeling the vibe of the songs, it was awesome. But get a bunch of new songs. I think here's the thing: it's a touring year. There have been pictures of the band working on an album. We're gonna get a bunch of new songs because there's gonna be a new album at some point. When, I don't know. Yeah, I want to hear Break For It too. I want to hear Break For It. I want to hear Break Free. I want Busted Stuff. the breakout of the Liberation Glass. Although I don't want Tim playing too loud on it, but at the same time, if we get busted stuff, we get it, right? I can't, beggars can't be choosers. But I think that any of the old gyms will make the album. I think we may get a couple. I don't know how many. Shotgun has been, people have wanted that, right? People have wanted that back. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get it. I have no idea, because we got Idea of You and Can't Stop. But that's where the buck really stopped. Everything else was new. I really hope it, to me, this new album, I would love it to be a bunch of classics and some of the new songs. I mean, honestly, if Shotgun is played, I don't care how loud Tim's playing. As long as we can hear Dave's voice, I will take a Shotgun anyway. The only frustrating thing with Busted Stuff that gets me is that with Busted Stuff, Tim was playing, I think that was Montage Mountain in Scranton. Tim blared over Dave. That's how I get the name Tim CDC. He was doing some hard rock riffs over Dave, and this is an acoustic pop song where you hear Carter's drum set and Dave's guitar. Those are the main catalysts of that song. So I thought that it was just a shame to have Tim play over Dave absurdly loud. I'm dramatic about how Tim plays. Listen to that Busted Stuff from Scranton. It is, he's playing over him. Yep, I will take Shotgun any way that we can get it, right? And you could still hear Dave's guitar. That was never really an issue. You could hear, Tim's guitar in certain ones, but you could always hear Dave's guitar in Shotgun, because he starts off by himself without Tim, right? So, but the thing is this band has to play what they're feeling. That's why we get Louisiana Bayou. I don't ever want to hear that song again. But you know what? After all of the turmoil of 2017 into 2018, Louisiana Bayou was just that song where they had their little praise dance, hallelujah jam, even though the verses are the biggest waste of time since standing in line at the DMV. The verses of Bayou are abysmal. But that jam and the energy of it, that band needed that song, even though I never want to see it played again. And you're right, Mike. Yeah, Tim was turned down in 2019. He's come a long way. I still would like to see things improve, as always, but he's come a long way. Yeah, listen, Tim won Acoustic 2021 for life. I would love. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna get Bayou at the Gorge because of that. Robert Randolph. It's without a doubt. Still could do without it. I'd rather see Robert Randolph on another song. But they played it both nights at Deer Creek. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'd be like, no. Why? But I know Deer Creek. Those Deer Creek shows look phenomenal. And Granny, like I said, I'm going to try to get out there next year. That's going to be one of my goals. And I'm really trying to get to anything at Alpine, even if it's not DMB, but I don't know if Alpine is going to open up again. I really want to get to that venue just to get there. But I want to get to Deer Creek and Alpine. But yeah, this band has to play what they're feeling. That's why That Girl Is You had to be played so much. That's why Watchtower is played, because these songs make Dave happy. They make Dave happy. They make the band happy. He needs it for his mental health. But again, if they would listen to me, the band's not going to listen to me. But if they would say, hey, what would you like us to cut? I'd be like, Louisiana Bayou, cut the Watchtower closer. Every time you want to do a Watchtower closer, play What You Are, or put What You Are in the set closer, and have a close with a DMB show. That's what I would tell. Now, but again, they don't care about me. They really don't. And I still love the band, regardless of as much as I complain about some of the sounds. So, but that's the thing is they have to play what they're feeling. This is not a band. There's certain bands that can just play stuff, and Leroy was kind of that way. He hated 41, but he played it. God dang it, he played it because the fans loved it. It was a favorite song. He hated the playing the sax. It's a very rigorous sax song, but he played it. There's nothing wrong with Dave's mental health, but in order to be motivated to play for 30 years, you have to have songs that make you happy. And these songs, that the current new songs, resonate with where he is in his life. Like Come Tomorrow and Do You Remember is a tribute for a friend. If I wrote a song about my friend, I'd play it as much as Dave did too. And it sounds really good live. It's a very tight percussive acoustic sound live. But it's to me, it's skippable live. But it's a song about his friend. And that's a tribute to his friend. Just like Why I Am is a tribute to Roy. Some nights I love Why I Am. Other nights I'm like, bro, this could have been something else. But I understand why Dave plays it. He has to have these things. It's part of what keeps him going. And here's the thing. If you look up, let me show you guys something. This is my Billy Joel poster right there from Madison Square Garden. By the way, if you have not seen a show at Madison Square Garden, find a person you like, book a hotel, and go to Madison Square Garden. It's my Patriots thing right there. That's my Dave poster right there, the Moose from Hartford. But Billy Joel, he talks about it, and this is why I love Billy. He said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to stop making songs. In 93. I think it was 92, 93. He stopped making albums. He did do I think he's like collabed and stuff, but he never had a studio album after 93. I think that was River of Dreams? In the middle of the night. I don't know. But anyway, I love Billy Joel shows. I've been to 2 of them at the Garden. I'm very blessed to live close to an awesome arena like Madison Square Garden. Like I said, if you see someone there, get a hotel, get a flight, get to a show at the Garden. There's nothing like a concert at Madison Square Garden. Nothing. Yeah, Down East. Here's the thing. I saw Down Eastern Alexa with the violin player who played it in the studio. He was a guest at my first Billy Joel show. The poster I have is from the second one. That was epic. Epic. Man, that was an awesome one. And my favorite Billy Joel song is Vienna. Just because it's a song that got me. I'm 30 now. It got me through my 20s. Slow down, you crazy child. It's just if you haven't heard Vienna by Billy Joel, it is it's just one of those songs. And there's other, you can make a case for many other songs, but that song personally is a song that helped me through my 20s. When will you realize Vienna will wait for you? It's a beautiful song, and I got to hear it too at the show. Yeah, it was in 2016, the DMB 25 year. But Billy Joel stopped making music, and he's an entertainer. He can take those songs and play them every night, and he's happy. But Dave needed stuff that was more age appropriate for him, and he still plays the old stuff. He does. But then some of the new songs just give him that joy to come back on stage. And that's why I can't knock it, because if I can say, hey, stop making music in 2002, but if they stopped making music, they probably would have fell apart. Are you dedicated to your BFF? That's awesome. In 91, that's awesome. Well, that's sad circumstances. And there was an Elton John Billy Joel tour. I gotta put up my Elton John poster. Here, let me show you my Elton John. Let me get it. This is from the final tour. I need to. This thing is a little bit warped right here. I saw him in Hartford on his final tour, and one of the cool things is there is an app where you can listen to shows from this tour, including mine, and you can turn up the volume of every individual instrument. They have every track recorded and saved. But Elton John, oh my gosh, what a again. And Elton John to me is what is it? When I heard it, I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard a lot about his life. And what is it, Elton John? Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, Madman Across the Water. The song, it's the name of the album, but I love that song. And actually, Warren Haynes did a cover of it a couple shows before I saw him. And he did some pandemic social distance concerts last year. He did a cover of it in Connecticut, but I wasn't at that show. Someone Saved My Life Today. Oh my gosh, that song is just. Yeah, I'm gonna frame it. I gotta frame that. I don't know if I showed you this one too. I got a spare. Let me show you the Sperry. Hold on. So this one is from Government Mule. I went a couple weeks ago. This is a Chuck Sperry poster this is one I'm definitely framing in this up next week. This is one of 400, and yeah, this thing, I finally got one of these bad babies. I didn't get the Gorge one in 2019 because it was sold out, but this one, oh, she is so fine. Right there. So that one's from Government Mule. They played here in Connecticut. It's the same poster. They made 400 socially distanced shows. They made 400. 100 were released by the artist like that Monday after, and they had three. Oh, excuse me. Oh God, excuse me. They had 300. They had 300 posters for 3 nights, 100 per night. And I was fortunate enough to get finally a Chuck Sperry in my poster collection. 12 DMB posters, 2 Pearl Jam, and a Foo Fighters. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, I need to get these framed. I'm definitely the Sperry is why I'm actually going to that Elton John one is from 19. I just never framed it. And I'm hoping to get that up very soon. But anyway, what were we talking about? Anyway, yeah. So, a Billy Joel can do that. And most artists, most artists just play their hits, right? That's what they're known for. But DMB is a little different, but there's still a uniqueness in DMB, right? And I think one of the things about DMB that makes it so polarizing, you have fans that say, I'll listen to Dave play the phone book, and you have fans like me that say, look, I want these songs. It's because he gives us that taste of variety. If the Dave Matthews Band just played the same set every night, you wouldn't even hear me be complaining about that. I've gone and seen Earth, Wind, and Fire, and now again, that's a whole different skill set. Oh, you got an Amos Lee poster. Awesome. I know he guested with Dave, and I believe he played, I think, in one of the Mexico runs. He was the opener, and then he guested with Dave and Tim. But nice. Got guitar picks. Thousands of guitar picks. What was I gonna say? But if DMB, I wouldn't even have this platform about DMB if they played the same set every night, right? I probably would have still liked them, but part of what got me in is they were one of the first bands outside of John Mayer. I guess I was into the Allman Brothers a little bit at that point, but they were really the first band I was like, wow, They play a different set every night, and I'm gonna just keep following them around. Like that's what makes so great, the thrill of the chase. And other bands will have that, right? But they like eventually, if you chase around certain bands, like I've seen the Dead and Company, Phyllis and Friends, they play a different set every night, no matter what. So you're gonna, if you go to a couple shows, you're gonna get a bunch of shows, but DMB still keeps things like repetitive in certain show flows and song frequency. So you have to chase things more. So you're hoping to get a poster from each DMB. See, I'm like, honestly, I would love to get like a really, really super, like a good solid DMB poster. If someone makes like a, like a top 15, top 20 DMB poster of all time, and I'm able to get that poster, I'd want to get it, but that's really it. I like getting posters from different artists. And I realize I'm gonna start running out of room. That's why you see the Allman Brothers behind me and Billy Joel's in front of me and DMB's to the far right of me. Oh, you've never been to a show? DMB 83. Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense because honestly, here's the thing. My first show actually was May 25th, 2012. That was 9 years ago. I never complained. I actually liked Tim. I liked Tim. I actually, my first show, I liked how Tim had an electric guitar heavy riff because the thing is, before DMB, I was into rock. As far as in this wave, like I was into blues, I was into rock, I was into things that were electric guitar heavy. And I had listened to DMB, but I was like, oh, cool, they got this like rock. And I think that's why people liked Tim. And then you have some people, you have diehards that don't, and you have diehards that do, but like it's like my first show, like Tim was playing over Dale. I was like, yo, this is awesome. This is a rocking show. But as I started to really listen to previous eras of the band, I was like, okay, now he's just playing over Dave, and I want to hear Dave more. All right, DMB Mamas, good to see you check in. Oh, you were only going to 3 shows internationally. Okay. So, but yeah, so I mean, ultimately, my perspective has changed. The very critiques I make of the band didn't come until about 2 or 3 years into going to shows, because I had no way to critique them, because my first show I got Blackjack, right? I got a Stone opener my first show. My second show I got a People Tease. My third show I got Dreaming Tree and a JTR and a number 34 Tees. My fourth show I got a Spoon. I got a Best of What's Around and a Blue Water Partial. So there wasn't anything to complain about. I thought this was every DMB show. And then I started to see trends and different things, and I started to really understand what made this band great live, because I only listened to the studio tracks. In the studio tracks, you hear Tim playing an electric guitar, or it's acoustic guitar, but it's in an electric fashion, because Lillywhite, I guess, didn't want him playing that distorted electric guitar. In Crash and Under the Table and Dreaming, it's more acoustic or clean electric, or a clean acoustic electric that Tim is playing. But yeah, so my opinions come mostly from, by the time once I started getting into going to these shows and listening, a lot of it too was listening to the classic shows. I remember my first DMB purchase for live music was live at Red Rocks. I still have the CD over there. And yeah, so I got, like, that's the thing is, when you're in a Deer Creek or when you're in a Hartford, you get some crazy stuff. And really, to me, Hartford was super rare. Like I said, 2010. You look at that show I put in the chat. That's a rare show. Like Hartford got some crazy stuff when we used to have 2 nights, and we actually had 3 nights in 99 and 2000. We had 3 nights in Hartford. I mean, Hartford is a very small, to give you DMB 83 or the fan that Jane likes. Hartford is a smaller city. We had the Whalers. We had a professional NHL team, and we were still like the smallest market in America. So we're a small market, about 500,000 people in our greater Hartford area. The metro is like just under 1 million, depending on what you call the Hartford metro. But DMB was our thing. The Dave Matthews Band tailgates here were huge. We had a riot that made Rolling Stone magazine. I think that was in 99 or 2000. I think that was 2000. Because that was Live Tracks 3 came from that 3-night stand. So Hartford has had a special heart in the band's place, special place in the band's heart. And due to that, we get some special shows. I mean, we got Branford Marsalis in a Virginia in the Rain tour debut in 2015. Went down to one show and we get a special treat. I got Stanley Jordan on Dreaming Tree, my third show. And I think that was the first time he guested with the band. All right, Mike, thank you for checking out. That I know you have to run, but thank you for the support. But yeah, so I mean, that's where a lot of my critiques come from. Is I got all these great shows, and then I started to see, wait, why are they doing that? Why is this song Belly Belly Nice being played again? But ultimately, I love this band no matter what. I just treat this band like sports teams, right? If you have a favorite sports team or you know someone who loves a sports team, we yell at the team, but we cheer for the team in the same 30 seconds. No, don't do that. Oh, great shot. Yeah, let's go. So that's how I feel about DMB. So when I see the sound different, when I see things go a certain way, I have opinions about it. And I don't know if I'll make a video about this, but another thing that I hope to talk about, maybe we'll talk about this next week, is Buddy. I think people think they know Buddy, but we don't know Buddy because compared to Butch, because Buddy's never had the chance to do what Butch did because the band's different. Oh, you don't have, so I see you saying Jane, a fan that Jane likes. Yeah, you can't buy CDs here, and you don't have there's not a large DMB following in Australia, even though they come to some of the festivals like the Byron Blues Fest and some other stuff. So the community is important to you. And honestly, this community is why I'm going to the Gorge. It's why I'm going to go to Deer Creek next year, because I've heard great things, and I got to see Granny. I got to see you next year. So I'm going to the Gorge because I want to interact with so many fans that are going to be there, and hopefully Mike is able to get there too, and some DMB friends that are all online that I've met that we're going to really hang out together, and look to possibly we're still working on trying to get a house or something out there. I don't know. I still have stuff as a backup, but yeah, I mean, the DMB community is a special thing. I appreciate that too. Yeah. I try not to be disrespectful, but I do have very strong opinions. But I think the reason that my opinions are so strong is, and I know you're in Australia, so you may not see all of it, but when I when I get messages, and listen, it's not to like it's a couple of people, but that's honestly what gets me moving. But I've had conversations with DMB fans that I met through my channel. And again, like I said, it's not like a bajillion people. There's 6 people on right now, but that's all I need. I don't care if more people don't come on. I love talking to all 6 of you. But I've had people say, you know what? In the community for DMB, I've had these opinions, but you've been able to express that opinion over YouTube. Because I think one of the things with the D&B community, there's a part of it. This is not to knock them because they just love. This is how they treat the band. Because with other bands, I'm the same way. But where there's people who say, no, you can't say that about the band. Oh, be lucky they're still touring. And I'm blessed they're still touring. And I know that some people like you, fan that Jane likes, haven't seen the band, but I still feel like if there's an opinion that says, look, I just wish this was that way. I love this band. The reason I'm critiquing them is because I love them. But I just wish these new songs, they mess up the show flow. Look, Watchtower as a closer is not the way I want a D&B show to be closed. These are thoughts that people have, but then when they have them, oh, you're not a true fan. Oh, you're a hater. Oh, you're this, you're that. But and there are people that complain in negative ways, and I try to balance it out because, like I said, I'm aware of why the band does what it does, but this is why I think they should do this, right? I'm aware Dave is going to play what he wants to play, but I'm like, hey, Dave, this is a great song. I know you're insecure about this song, just like some of my art, some of my videos. It can be nerve-wracking putting this together because it's like, oh, that wasn't good. I want to just delete it. But there's some of the best Dave songs, A Dream So Real. They don't play it. He scrapped that song. Now he's not feeling that song, but I guarantee you, if they played A Dream So Real, everyone like me who's heard it and everyone who has never heard it in their life is gonna be like, what is that song? This is a Dave Matthews Band song. There could be someone there for the first time. If they hear A Dream So Real, they are gonna be like, this is why I'm coming. And that's what she said. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop. But my first show, I got a Stone opener. I don't know if I'm as big of a Dave Matthews Band fan if my first show as the sun is going down is a Stone opener. I really don't know. But these moments are what hooked me onto this band. I think everyone should experience the Stone opening up. I don't care. It's like, oh, only I saw it. No, I wish everyone could walk away from a tour and say, you know what? I got a Stone opener. You know what? I got Dreaming Tree. I got Spoon. I think if A Dream So Real opened up a show, the fan base, there could be someone there that's never heard of D&B, and they would love it. And yeah, there's a lot of trolls, right? There's some stuff that's nasty across the board. Some people who say you don't like it, don't go, and there's people who just hate on everything Dave does, right? And it can be polarizing. But my passion is that I think that the band, if they were to kind of add a couple songs here or there, people would really feel this band on a whole new level. And listen, I don't expect everyone to go through the archives of the shows like I do, right? Right? Like I remember realizing that the last time that D&B played JTR in the in the Pacific time zone was like what 2006, I think it was. Like I was looking through the archives of D&B and I was looking at the time zones. And for the most part, it's been played mostly in the Eastern time zone, the Central time zone, and it was played overseas. But like that's the type of stuff I just sit around and just look at the statistics and things like that, and I love it. And I try to share some of that. And so are some of the people on the online forums actually D&B haters? No. Here's what I'll say about the online forums. What are some? Let me try to do. Fan that Jane likes. Have you ever heard? I'm trying to think of some artists that are acoustic, like Jason Mraz. Have you ever heard of like a Jack Johnson? I'm sure you have. Jack Johnson, right? Jack Johnson, Jason Mraz, just acoustic singer songwriters. I don't consider John Mayer because he actually does electric in his stuff. But have you ever heard a Jack Johnson song, right? A Jason Mraz song? a Howie Day, although Howie Day does a little, he's more pop. But if you think of a Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson, imagine if you were a Jack Johnson fan for 10 years. And all of a sudden, you go to a Jack Johnson show, and there's a guest, right? Let's just say it's Gary Clark Jr. Granny, thank you for staying up. I know, yeah, if you get some sleep, get some sleep. But Jack Johnson, for instance, right? Jack Johnson is an acoustic based artist. And let's just say Gary Clark Jr., let's just say he guested on a song with Jack Johnson once, and it was more of a rock based song, so it fit. But imagine if Jack Johnson went on tour and then Jack Johnson has Gary Clark Jr. on every song playing over him. And then he adds some horns, and then he switches out some players in his band. A lot of the people that are upset on the forums are frustrated because this band started off as an acoustic jam band. The tempos were slower for the better. It was Dave's guitar as the primary pushing point along with Leroy. And then Tim would come in and he would play light electric guitar subtly. Butch Taylor came in and played subtle piano to the point where he wasn't a flashy player, right? To the point his solos would put you to sleep. His two-step solo, boring. But that's okay because he was supposed to be subtle. It was all about Dave's guitar and Leroy's saxophone were the main components of what popped out. Carter Beauford on the drums, if you really broke down Carter, if you were a drummer, you would respect him, but it was really Dave's guitar for the Dave Matthews Band that was the primary highlight of the band. But then Leroy Pat tragically passes away, and the band goes from this acoustic sound with all these great gems of songs. The best music they ever wrote was in their first couple albums, as far as just like undeniable, can't miss, can't skip this song. Maybe Satellite, but that's it. And then you have the band switch. After Leroy dies, they go all rock. You can't hear anything. So a lot of the fans that are upset, and yes, they're condescending, there's trolling. Some of it they want to bite down and get attention by ripping Dave. But they're doing it because they miss what made this band so great for so many years. When you could hear, there's so much less space. Like if you listen to some of the stuff, like if you listen to a What You Are from 2002 or 2001, and then you listen to like other songs right now, there was so much more space, even in a hard rock song like What You Are. Warehouse, it used to be Dave's guitar. Now Tim plays loud. And that's where what people, I know you get it, you said you get it, but that's really what it is people are frustrated with the fact they used to go to 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20. People used to just follow this band around in college, just finding tickets here and there, finding ways to get money for these tickets. But those same people are like, wait, I did this because this is how the band was. And now they changed their entire sound. Yes, this band's going to get older. Dave's voice is going to get more exhausted. But you're not getting the same band you had. The band took a whole 180. And that's why you have a lot of critics online that are disgusted by the new band. They still go to shows, but they would love to go to more. They can't justify it. The prices went up, right? A lawn seat in 2013 was $75 plus taxes and fees. But with the warehouse, you just paid for shipping and $75. Now yes, it's been about a decade, but in 2018, 2019, without Boyd and without openers, $75 can't even get you a back of house seat. And the lawn used to be $20, $30. Sometimes after tax, it was $30. Now the lawn is about $50, $40 after fees. Right. And the early stuff is just phenomenal. So prices have gone up. Openers don't exist anymore except the Gorge. And they have guests here and there. They used to have more guests and they used to have more people touring with longer parts of the tour, like a Carlos Santana, in 2001 or 2000. It's 2000, 2001, I think around that time. Yeah, I think it was 2000. I think it was more 2000. They were selling out stadiums. And so ticket prices go up. The newer music doesn't hit like the older music for the fans that were attracted to this band. And you have this conundrum where fans are upset. They're mad. They're fans that could go up. The Warehouse used to be always guaranteed to get solid seats. And then Ticketmaster had their platinum seats and their other stuff that took away from it. Oh, yeah. Dave's voice is better. Dave's voice has improved over time, and there's different shows and eras where it was bad. But he did ruin his voice. Yeah, his vocal, he then started paying people like Rab and other people to help him to gain his honing his vocal skills. He never was really vocally trained as much. Like he had the guitar down, but his vocals, what he was doing was ruining his voice. And he was actually taking certain steroids that also helped short term, but long term hurt. And these are legal stuff, not like illegal steroids. But all right. And yeah, the pricing, 700 plus for 2 VIP tickets in Australia. So that's why fans are upset. That's really why fans are upset is I'm yawning now because things have gone up and they feel like they're getting less. And honestly, less is more with this band. I feel like it's more of a traffic jam. And sometimes that's good. A song like So Right, the higher energy, You Might Die Trying is better with Tim Reynolds on it. But there's other songs where I think Tim being full electric guitar takes away from the song. Ron from Colorado, how you doing? Speaking of Colorado, I've seen that they've been releasing some additional tickets. Oh, no worries. 10, what is it? It's 8:48 out there in Colorado, 8:49 Mountain Time out there in Colorado. And Red Rocks, so I see Red Rocks is getting more tickets in. I see some of the shows sold out there in Red Rocks. Fiddlers is you got Dead and Company and DMB that are doing really well selling. And that's a venue that's Fiddlers is one of the high performing venues right now for amphitheaters. I know Red Rocks is a smaller level. And it's a unique spot that's its own. But Fiddlers is getting Dead and Company and yeah, you guys are gonna getting some special stuff out there in Colorado, but that you typically weren't always guaranteed to get. And it's great to see that there's businesses coming back into your state and that you're going to have some sold out shows, even with the limited capacity. Once they get the full capacity, they're still going to sell out the shows. And it's great to see Red Rocks up and running again. I saw there's still some tickets remaining for Humphreys McGee. I'm just going to say, go to bed. Yeah, it's 10:50 right now, Eastern. And you're already in tomorrow, DMB, or fan that Jane likes out there in Australia. Gee, fun time zone fact. I didn't realize China is all the same time zone until the other day. And you can actually, there's a part of China that intersects Afghanistan. And you're like, I think it's like a 3-hour difference. You walk over and then you walk back. It's like a peninsula. That time zones have always interested me. Yeah. And there's actually there's two islands between Russia and the United States where technically it's not legal to cross, but when it's in the winter, you can walk the ice and walk from one island to the other. You can walk into tomorrow. But yeah, there's a China. Let me see. There's a weird peninsula in China, and then you go into Afghanistan, and it's a very small sliver. If you look it up on YouTube, it's I think it's like Wakhan. But it's almost 1 p.m. in Australia. Oh my gosh. John, what up? Oh, Shay likes the poster. Okay. You've been watching on the low, John? Or did you watch the replay? Yeah, but tell Shay I say hi, and I hope you guys are doing well in Tennessee. Tennessee. Oh, you just popped in. Okay. All right. Yep. And let's say it's 1:20. It's hour 21 into this. But we'll get to more stuff next week. Tribe Called Quest. Fun fact, Tribe Called Quest. I listened to Low End Theory once. I listened to it for an entire year, at least once a week. At least once a week. And it's probably one of my favorite albums of all time, Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest. And this was actually because I was born in '90, so I mean when it came out, I had no idea. I was a baby, but I listened back and I love their music and I love how cool it was. It was it wasn't the straight gang because I didn't grow up. John knows I didn't grow up in the streets. All right. And my parents worked hard to have a good life for me in middle class America, or got me there when I was, I started off in kind of working class, but not like wasn't in the street. That was never a thing for me. But anyway, I loved how they were able to just spit stuff that was just organic and fun and cool, and it wasn't like yeah. And I love gangster rap, right? I don't know, and there's a time and place for that. But Tribe was just unique and ahead of his time in the sampling. Yeah, the flow and the sampling. I mean, Q-Tip was diving in crates of records. I mean, he just goes to a record store and buy. That impact also then rubbed off on Kanye West. We wouldn't have a Kanye West without Q-Tip. So, I mean, that's who, he was that eclectic, just pull a bunch of stuff from a shelf and buy it. And Midnight Marauders and Low End are, to me, are the best two Tribe albums. Their first album is okay. I mean, I think it's good, but Low End and Midnight Marauders are just the new album. Okay. Yeah, so we'll say that for next week. New album. And let me put that in my notes. New album. We're going to look at some of the. Oh, my sticky notes are load. Why do the sticky notes load like this? Why does it take so long? It's like a quick. I have notes. Why is this thing? Yeah, new album. We'll talk about a new album. We'll talk about Boyd. Not Boyd. No. We'll talk about new album. We'll talk about Buddy and some of the stuff that's not fair to Buddy. Because people, the thing that, and I'll just preview this because I just can't keep stuff. I don't like teasing stuff. And then, but here's my thing. Everyone's like, oh, Buddy can't do what Butch got. Butch did. How do you know? We've never had an ability for Buddy actually outside of Steady As We Go on one of the live from home requests. So let me do that. Buddy versus Butch and band sound. We'll talk new album, and then we'll like do a view, screen view of ticket maps. So we'll see what the state of purchasing tickets is. But Buddy, everyone's like, oh, he can't do what Butch did. Right, because Buddy is a better soloer. And I love what Butch did, but he was a trash soloer on like two-step. Put me to sleep. That's not his yeah, we're not gonna talk Boy, but I'm talking about Buddy versus Butch. And people knock him. But here's the thing. Buddy's never had a chance to play jazzy or just straight keys like Butch did, and the band is totally different. Butch would never last in this band. Actually, he played in this band with a concert for Charlottesville. He was playing and you couldn't even hear him. Part of this new band is you have to play organ. Everyone's like, oh, Buddy just plays organ. Yeah, because you can't hear piano over stuff. And when Buddy plays piano, it sounds great. And his solos are more entertaining than anything Butch did. And Butch, his best stuff was playing riffs. And I love Butch. Shout out to Butch if you're listening. He's probably not, but if you are, I love what you did with the band. His whole deal was, his game plan was, listen, you're gonna go out here and you're playing with Michael Jordan. Dave Matthews is Michael Jordan. You're gonna rebound, you're gonna get the outlet pass, you're gonna box out people to get the ball to Michael Jordan. Now, Buddy is with an older, he's like Ron Artest and Kobe Bryant at the end of his career. Look, Kobe is amazing, right? He does what he does. We still love him, but he needs some help. He needs someone to hit those corner threes. He needs someone to get extra points and get some assists to help him out. His knees have had surgery on surgery, and he needs a little bit of help. He's still Kobe, but he's at the end of his career. We're going to get one last championship. Buddy has had a higher level of, they need him to do this, this, and this. And by the way, there's no violin, so you're going to have people mad at you like that. Or, hey, Ron Artest, hey, there's no Shaq. People miss Shaq. They want Shaq back. They want someone like Shaq. You're going to have to fill in that void. Not as linear. But we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to show you examples because everyone's like, oh, he can't do what Butch did. Oh, really? Has he had a chance to? How can he place as subtle and as low as Butch did masterfully when the band is so loud? We'll talk about that. But thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for the support. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. YouTube, ConcertVids34. Instagram, ConcertVids34. Twitter, ConcertVids34. Same name across everything. I'm not on TikTok. I don't see a need to be on TikTok, especially because my page isn't even monetized. The only reason to be on TikTok is to make money. If you're trying to get views, clout, and money. And I would love some more views, but I'll talk with you guys every week. TikTok, you don't stop. Anyway, thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for coming on. And that is all I have for today. It's your boy ConcertVids34. Peace.